Hello, hello, hello. 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 Okay, there we go. Why is this thing, it once again? Hey, 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 hey. Can you guys hear me? I see my box lighting up. I'm trying to use this microphone so I don't have to sit so close to the, what do you call it? The camera. All right. Okay, let's see if TikTok is going to do that thing today that it does. And there it is again, doing that thing again. There we go. Good grief, TikTok. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a lovely evening tonight. I just ate dinner, so I am feeling good. Well, hi, thanks. I was supposed to go look at some plants before I got on here tonight, and then it took me forever to get ready, so whatever. Welcome in, everybody. When you come in, please do all of the good things, right? Wonderful things. Send your daily heart me. Share the live. You can share the live 3 different ways. You can send it to your followers. You can repost it. And you can add it to 3 different ways. You can share the live. Send it to your followers. I'm just going to go down the line here and send it to everybody, whether they like it or not. So yeah, 3 different ways to share the live. Repost it, share it to your story, send it to your followers. Let them know that Our Vote Counts is on again. And when they go again, say yes, again. Because this is an important year for voting. And the midterms start in March. So we got to get people in the know about the candidates, about who's running for office, about their visions for the areas that they're running for, the districts, the states, the cities, the counties, the streets. We might get some HOA candidates, some people running for HOA president. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? So yes, please like the live. If you're coming in, like the live. We're waiting for our candidate, Case Norton, who is running for the Democrat primary in the state of Georgia for the U.S. House of Representatives, District 7. So Case Norton, actually his name is Casey, but he prefers to be called Case. So Case Norton. We're waiting for you. Come aboard. We're expecting you. Casey, where are you? Mr. Norton. Oh, he is here. Did you hear me sing? Did you hear me sing?
Yeah, give me a sec. I don't know. I was like, it's not pulling up yet. Hold on. Sorry, doing the effects. I had it pulled up.
Yes, if you don't put up that background, this is canceled. Canceled.
Give me one sec. Oh my goodness. Green screen. There we go. Okay. Boom, baby. Cool. That better?
Yes.
How are you, Ayana?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm
Although
well.
I must say, Mr. Norton, with a white background, it kind of washes you out.
Does it?
Yeah. But it's okay. We'll have to work with it, you know?
That's just the man from the caucus, you know? That's just me, baby.
I'm like, where is he? He's blending in. Okay. All right, y'all. Welcome to Our Vote Counts Town Hall. Tonight we are featuring the stylings of Mr. Case Norton, who is running for the Democrat primary for the U.S. House of Representatives in the state of Georgia, District 7. District 7 of Georgia. He's running for the primary. The primaries are in a couple of months, although we learned yesterday that some primaries are not until freaking September, which is crazy. That's crazy. But okay, nonetheless, our vote counts. If you've been here before, we've been doing this since last September. Oh, September. Anyway, we've been doing this since last September. If you're familiar with our vote counts, we do these town halls where we feature a candidate who's running for a particular office. Tonight, we are working with Case Norton, again, from Georgia. Our vote counts appreciates very much so the audience participation. If you are in the audience and you have a question for Case while we are doing the questions and going back and forth, please put them either in the chat and I will read them to him, or you can hit the multi-guest option. That's the two little gray people at the bottom of your screen. And you can come up and ask him yourself. We encourage participation from everyone. We just ask that you are respectful and polite. We are not doing a debate style thing here. No gotchas, no gotcha questions, just genuine conversation about Mr. Norton's vision for the future of his district and the country, actually. So if you have a question, again, either in the chat or multi-guest, while you are in the chat and you're listening to this conversation, please like the live. Please. We would love it if you would like our live. Also, send your daily heartney to the OVC account. Support our account. Support the work that we do. You guys show up here all the time, and you're very supportive, very good in the chat with the comments and the engagement, and we appreciate it. Again, our vote counts. In case you are new here, like Mr. Case, OVC is a nonpartisan coalition of citizens from across the country united by a shared commitment to empower voters and elevate political candidates who embody integrity, inclusion, and accountability. Rooted in the experiences of educators, veterans, small business owners, students, and community advocates, our vote counts reflects the power of unity across geography, race, and ideology. Our backgrounds may differ, but our purpose is the same, ensuring that every voice is heard and every vote truly counts. Through voter education, candidate outreach, and community engagement, we champion leaders who are prepared to serve the people, not special interests. By collaborating across state lines and uplifting both local and national issues, we work to increase voter participation, strengthen public dialogue, and build momentum for lasting change. Our vote counts is more than a name. It is a promise, a movement, and a rallying cry for a stronger democracy. Thank you for joining us. Together, we're shaping the future, one informed vote at a time. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the district that Mr. Norton wants to serve. It is situated in the northern Atlanta suburbs and exurbs. I've never heard of this word, exurb.
That's a new one I heard this year, too.
Yes. It includes all of Dawson, Forsyth, and Lumpkin counties, plus parts of Cherokee, Fulton, and Hall counties. Major cities are Alpharetta, Cumming, Johns Creek, Milton, Roswell, and Sandy Springs. It's mostly urban, mostly white, high median income, highly educated, high earning suburban district. So y'all smart and got money, which is, a great combination. The current representative is Rich McCormick, who is a Republican. So Mr. Norton himself is a husband, an autism dad. That's how he describes himself. I didn't make that up. He's a 19-year union camera technician. I am also in a union, so high five. Who spent his entire adult life in the film industry. He comes from the same working class world as the people he's running to represent. Mr. Norton, Case, for people meeting you for the first time, please tell us more about yourself and what led you to the decision to run for office, for political office.
Sure. So you kind of laid everything out there. I'm a married father of two. Both children have autism, different variations of it. So I'm definitely an advocate for their needs and them as well as other folks with autism and other special needs. Like you said, I'm a union camera technician, which is basically a first assistant camera operator is the technical term. I basically keep objects and subjects in focus whenever we're recording. So if you see someone in focus here and then someone out of focus there, and then it shifts, that's something that I would do on my side. I'm also someone who's lived paycheck to paycheck, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, the film industry has certainly left the United States for cheaper options overseas. So that has hurt many families, including my own. That was strike one on why I wanted to run. That was strike one. Strike two. Well, I outside of that, I know what it's like to juggle work and family and stress. My wife has a job as well. Both of our kids go to different schools, so I'm well adept at having to figure out timing with everything. It's not so cut and dry with our schedule. And I also I care about people, and I think that's what's lacking a lot. And I think we're seeing that not only out of our own representative, but out of this administration, out of most of the government right now. We're not seeing people actually care about the people that are making this country run, the people that are paying the taxes to do what we do with our tax money. And I think it's time the bottom 99% win, and I'm here to champion for them.
And you're in Georgia. Georgia is one of the hottest places in the United States for the film industry, right? There are a lot of TV shows and movies filmed there.
There are a lot, and I will say that the caliber of work out here has been much better than when we moved from the West Coast. I started on the West Coast, came out here a few years ago. Love it out here. Love the people, love the weather, love the vibe, love the food. Really not much to not like about it. We just got to get it in the right direction.
All right, I hear you. So, Mr. Case. Mr. Case. I've been to the state of Georgia a few times. I have some siblings who live in Georgia, so I'm familiar with the culture a bit, just a little bit. If the state of Georgia had a music playlist, right? What, I'll say 3 songs would be mandatory to be on that list that describe the state of Georgia in your mind. Don't say Georgia on your mind. Don't say that, please.
That one I won't. That was probably just outside of what I would have said, right? I know it's not really I'm not sure the actual geographic makeup of this, but the one song there's 2 songs that I love. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. It wasn't Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. It was Midnight Train to Georgia, first of all.
Okay.
This is, anytime I'm coming back to Georgia, I always have to, even if I'm on a plane or driving, I just have to listen to it. It's just really who I am. I'm kind of an old soul. Spotify Wrapped actually had me as a 78-year-old. So I listen to a lot of oldies, but I also listen to trap music. So I would say Future has to be in there, of some Future song, just something just exciting and vibrant. Midnight Train to Georgia, and the third one is going to be tough because I feel like I have to kind of ride in the middle somewhere. You got to get a neutral one. Okay, trap music, that's funny. I'm not too sure. I mean Metro Boomin's out here too. I don't know. I'm big on vibes and music. So if I hear a good beat, I'm going to go with it.
I like this because how I grew up, my generation, I don't know, they're calling us generation, we were Generation X. I don't know how old you are. I don't want to assume your age. Okay, we're called Zennials with an X. Okay, so we grew up listening to rock, disco, R&B, kind of like the adult contemporary, the yacht rock. So we listen to everything, rap music, all of it. So when you say trap music and then Sitting on the Dock, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. If he's, generation, absolutely, 100%. So yeah, okay. I like that. Again, if you are in the audience and you have questions for Case, you're welcome to come up and ask them or leave them in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get started. I've got questions and questions and questions and questions and questions. So I'm going to kind of be working between 2 screens here.
Good.
You talk about bringing honesty, decency, and hardworking Georgia values to Washington. What does that look like in terms of specific policies or legislative goals?
Well, I think it's putting people first. I think above anything else, it's putting the people in your district as well as the American people first before corporate donors, because corporations have had too much of a stranglehold on the day-to-day lives, and we, the people, are left holding the bag and left paying the debt off of these corporations that have done this to our economy. So first of all, I would champion for, again, putting people first. Going to where they are, listening to what they need. I actually sort of did a thing today I posted on Threads where I was asking people, I said, look, based on these cities, kind of like how you mentioned in my district, I had asked what people feel is the biggest couple things or three things that are standing in the way of them and their family getting to a better spot in their life. And more, about 2/3, it was like 65%, said it was finance related, basically. Mm-hmm. So I think people are feeling it left and right. People can't, rent's going up, property taxes are going up. Someone said that their mortgage ended up going up 64% over the course of a few years, simply because of the insurance on it.
Yeah.
Of the property insurance. And so these are real things that people are facing every day. And I'm not ashamed to say that I felt that squeeze too. Since we moved here, we felt the squeeze. I mean, the industry's gone overseas, private equity's stripped everything, and mostly because we have such high health insurance here. So the unions out here have to pay into our health insurance. But if they were to shoot like they did for Spider-Man and shot in Scotland, they have universal health care. They don't have to pay into that. So the wages can be lower. They don't have to match the healthcare 1-to-1 or whatever the ratio ends up being. They don't have to pay these outlandish fees that we have here in America that they set up and bailed on. So again, we're not putting people first, and that needs to end.
Okay, so how would you define success in your first term in Congress? Like, you get to Congress, those 2 years, which I know you got to spend some time fundraising, boo. But at the end of your first term, what would you look at and go, yeah, I did this and I want to do it again?
So that's a great question, Ayana. I would say, I'm looking at this. First of all, I want to say I'm not looking to be a career politician. I've spent 19 years in the film industry since I was 17 years old, since I was in high school. I love what I do, but I've seen what happens to good, hardworking people. And,
there are all these like fireworks going off in the background.
I appreciate it.
Which just means that people love us, they're supporting us. But how would you define success at the end of your first term?
Right. So again, I'm big on term limits. I will say right out the gate, I don't believe anyone should hold the same position for 20 something years or more. There's people that have done 40 years. I'm happy with 3 terms, maybe 4 terms. We can talk about that. But essentially, I don't want to be in here for a long time. Now, things did not get to where they are overnight, and it's certainly not going to take overnight to fix them. But I think starting now and on day one, starting then and beforehand, like we're doing now, is incredibly important, because one of my mantras, I will say, I've been saying this every day for over a year and a half, and this is just part of it, but every step forward counts, no matter how small. That is part of my mantras that I say every single day when I wake up. And that is true, because every single step that I've taken has gotten us here to this point, just little baby steps, even if it's just taking a day off to rest in between. But we need to
So in your first, okay, let me help you a bit. In your first 100 days, what you say every step counts. What would be the first foot that you would put? Your first imprint on Congress. Here's your first bill. This is mine. I'm going to introduce it, and there you go. What would be the very first thing that you would introduce?
I would try to put a cap on interest rates and actually probably abolish ICE if we can. I mean, there's honestly a few things that take priority, especially in the last week or so.
I've seen your social media, so I've seen your videos, so I know you're telling the truth.
I'm actually part of, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of talk about this coalition that I'm in. I don't know if you've had any other Courage candidates on here, but yeah. I'm a member of Citizens Impeachment. One of the things that we have championed, we're at 70, I believe, federal candidates through 26 states right now and growing, that have all signed a petition and to impeach, convict, and remove Donald Trump. So that includes folks in the House, folks in the Senate, right? For all of us that have signed that pledge, that's step one, because we cannot move forward with what's happening right now without cutting it at the top. What's happening now, us getting involved in other countries like this, us sending out, these thugs, these armed thugs. I don't know what the TikTok slang is on that, but the armed thugs to American cities to assault and harass U.S. citizens without due process. I mean, there's a slew of things that I wish I could do on day one, but number one for our coalition at least is impeaching and removing and convicting Donald Trump and going from there. It's not going to start. It's not going to end there. That is just the beginning. Once we can get rid of him, we can start talking about abolishing ICE as a whole. He seems to be one of the only champions as far as pushing that through, just like Stephen Miller and JD Vance. But it starts from the top. We have to start. We have to take that down. We have to get someone in there, whether that's JD Vance and we just have to ride that out, or we can impeach him too for anything that he's possibly done. We haven't found that yet. So outside of impeachment and abolishing ICE, I mean, people are paying outrageous amounts for late fees, for credit card fees. The APRs are through the roof. People can't survive that. People can't afford that. People are missing bills just to pay these overdraft fees or their fees in general. And then you get in this forever cycle where you can't break it. You're always trapped unless you earn more, right? And too many people are feeling that squeeze, especially the working class.
So, okay, President Biden tried to do his thing with the executive order and the junk fees. Then Trump comes in and says, you know what? Yeah, no, you're going to be paying these junk fees. And so he rolls back the thing. And he's doing something similar with Dodd-Frank. He rolled back one provision so that private equity can buy up homes and essentially sell them back to themselves and make a boatload of money, or sell them to people overseas. Now he's going, you know what? Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. And he wants to, once again, make it harder for private equity to buy up to buy homes. And so I hear what you're saying. And I think it's wonderful. But you're going to have to convince at least people who support the other side to be on your side, so that when, you know, a Republican president comes in, they're not trying to change things because they know their constituents will be upset, right? So interest rates go down, wonderful. That's what people are longing to see right now. You're talking about affordability with Georgia. What specific legislation would you introduce to at least, like, maybe reduce housing prices or food prices? Is there something you could do to, like, for instance, food companies? There's like a couple of food companies that own all the brands of food that you see in the supermarket, right? And so they're setting the prices, they're making all of the money. Is there something that you could do legislatively to control that? To maybe bust them up? Maybe it's a monopoly. Maybe they can only charge so much for this type of food or this or this. What can you do legislatively to make that better?
Yeah, those are great points. You know, I'm big on a free economy and people setting their prices, but it comes at a certain point. Like you said, it's kind of, we're walking this fine line with what the monopolies are doing with buying everything. We're seeing this in the film industry as well, where they're buying all these companies and then they set the prices up. Everyone has subscriptions, they jack up the prices. It's what we're seeing in grocery stores today. I was actually just talking to someone about that today. I was at the store today as well, and coffee alone is coming to near, I'm having to buy the lowest of the low stuff now. I'm not even having to really care about.
Oh, not the Folgers.
No, I was fine with Folgers. I'm going to like U-Bahn in Maxwell House now because it's Folgers is $24 where I shop. It's ridiculous. Wow. It's insane. So we definitely need to break up monopolies, you know, and I will be the first, probably not the first to say, but I don't know everything about legislation, right? That's why we had to have advisors. But what I can tell you is that monopolies have not been working for the people. They've not been working for allowing people to just be able to survive and afford day-to-day life. So many people are crumbling under that. And that just needs to, we need to break up where we can. There's going to be pushback, of course, as there always is, but we need to have people in there that are not afraid to still stand up regardless of what they say.
Well, and Republicans are always saying that competition drives down the price of things. So if you break up the monopolies, then that will drive down the price, right? I honestly, I was talking to somebody about this today, but if you want your day-to-day needs to be addressed, I always tell people local elections are where it's at, but maybe it needs to be at the federal level too. You know, maybe it doesn't need to be, okay, we passed this legislation, here's a boatload of money in a block grant, we give it to the state and then hands off, right? Because that's how people see Congress. That's essentially what Congress is doing. But Congress is also the accountability, you know? you're holding these meetings, you have these committees, and you have to hold the legislative, the judiciary meetings, the economic meetings, the international, all that good stuff. What's one committee that you would like to belong to, that you feel that you can make the biggest change to when you get into Congress, where you can make the biggest impact, do you think?
I will say, to be honest, I'm not sure. I know, because I know this from fact that it's kind of a grab bag when you get in. You don't really get
Yeah.
to choose which you get into. The first year at least or so is kind of like, it's kind of up in the air. So that's why I'll say I'm not too sure, because I know I'm going to get thrown into something that I probably won't like, but I'll learn a lot about the process, and I'll learn how to swap that over to one of the committees that I do enjoy being on.
Like if they put you on like menu making committee for the Christmas party, you're going to be like, no, but I'll do my
I'll
best.
do it the best I can, of course. And if anyone else in the district wants to get involved, by all means, I'll come back and we can make everything, and then I'll fly it back.
All right, then. Do you support raising the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage? If so, to what level and on what timeline?
I would say yes, but we would need to tie it to inflation. Um,
What
it's
about
gonna,
region? What about region?
oh, inflation per region. Yeah, yeah, essentially that's what I mean. Because I mean, inflation all over is a little bit different. Federally, though, I do believe there needs to be a raise to that, whether that's 12 or 15. I mean, minimum. I mean, 15 sounds so outlandish from a federal standpoint, because that's what, double it right now, if not more.
Yeah.
I think it's 725 is it still.
Mhm.
So that alone is going to be a huge undertaking to some people. Some people are.
No, Case, come back.
I put myself on airplane mode, and I just got an email thing. So
Okay.
thought it was good. Um, lost my
Minimum
train of thought.
wage. Minimum wage, double it.
I mean, I think we at least need
Give
to.
everyone $1 million.
No, no, no. I mean, while I think that would be fun for a little bit, that would certainly ruin our economy even more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
gotta earn it a little bit. So minimum wage should be tied to inflation of the area. That's fine, but I also think it needs to tie to a national standard as well. So whether that's 12 from a national standpoint or 15 from a national standpoint, it needs to happen, because too many people are living not only paycheck to paycheck, but they're expected to be paid from, if you say you have a waiter, or say you have someone who's a bartender, and they're expecting tips to be a majority of their income. People aren't going to want to tip. Prices go up, they're not going to want to tip. It's not included. Like, the bartender's pay is not included in that drink or round of drinks. It's dependent on how they felt the service was, and they can tip them there. So I think we should get rid of tipping in general. I think that tied to a minimum wage should be gone nationwide. Personally, I think people are worth more than that, obviously. But it needs to be rolled out over a few years. Obviously, it cannot be something that's overnight. I think many states have done that, rolling it out over time. I think California was one. When I lived there, I know it was rolled out over a few years at least to get to where it was.
Mhm.
I think that was smart. I would have to dive a little bit deeper into kind of seeing how that's played out. But yes, it needs to go up. Absolutely. There's no reason. No one in their right mind in any portion of the country can survive off of minimum wage on a 40-hour week. They can't.
And I know that legislators know this. And today I was on a panel. Well, I was listening to a TikTok live where a young man said that he lives in Georgia and he made $8 an hour as a janitor, but he was able to afford a used car and rent. His rent was $500 because he lived with someone, right? No kids, lived with someone. He was on Medicaid, so he didn't have any health insurance costs. When you stack up all of those costs, plus if you have kids and you're paying for insurance for kids, and maybe they have other needs, like you probably have to pay for certain therapies, occupational therapies for your children. It $8 an hour is not going to cut it. $15 an hour is not going to cut it. So I think it would be pretty easy to convince, voters to raise the minimum wage. But everybody needs to know, okay, well, what's in it for me? Because I don't make minimum wage. I make more than minimum wage. So why do I care if you raise it or not? How do you, when you talk to voters, how do you get them to understand that affordability, making things affordable, even for a small group of people, would make it better for everyone, as opposed to you have to come up with a plan that satisfies the whole country?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that first part? I was listening to the second part again.
It's
Apologies.
okay. You know, I have ADHD
No, it's
and I
fine.
talk quite a bit.
No.
How would you convince people? Like, say, for instance, you come up with a plan that's good for your district, right? But the Democrats overall have their own plan. How do you convince other Democrat legislators or voters that your plan for your district would also serve the entire Democrat Party? How would it would also serve, it would be good for the entire country, not
Well,
just good for your district?
well, I mean, I think I would show like literal receipts at that point. I would show what someone bought, a standard week or 2 weeks worth of groceries last year or a year and a half ago and versus this year, and show the difference and say, well, that certainly went up quite a bit. How is that working with your wages? Are you still able to go on your vacations maybe? Or, because we're in a suburban area, or are you able to send your kids to college? Or do you have to start looking at community college now because the price of everything has gone up? They may be making $50 an hour, $60 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever it may be. But regardless, things have been going up, and they have not been being tied to what people pay. People are certainly earning a lot less, obviously, as everyone can see that from just going to the store. This administration can tote that gas is going down. And I'm in Georgia. It's pretty cheap here. I used to live in California. It would fluctuate 20, 30 cents every day at minimum. Mm-hmm. So here it's, it might have gone down. I could say that, but everything else has gone up, and we can't forget that. So I would show them receipts, honestly, and say, is this working for you and your family now? Or what have you had to maybe give up? What have you had to consider? I would just start posing questions. I think when people are asked questions, they're able to actually look at their situation a little bit better, instead of just coming in from the sideline and saying, well, I haven't seen this, so it doesn't affect me.
And that is when you're out on the trail, the political trail, and you're talking to people, and you're probably hearing, well, that has nothing to do with me, so I don't know why I should care about that. And that's one of that's not really apathy. That's more of a kind of selfishness you see from voters. And so convincing people to care about things that perhaps don't affect their day to day, that might be one of the hardest things we do in the political game, is trying to convince people to care about things that, has nothing to do with them. But so you propose real education reform, right? What specific changes would you make to K through 12 curriculum or funding to better serve students and prepare them for the modern economy?
Well, for that, I would say we need to expand opportunity in general, and that's just for students as well as teachers. I think teachers need to get paid a lot more. I think if we have all this money for the ICE agents, we can certainly pay teachers a living wage. If they're full-time, I don't see why they can't make $80,000 a year minimum. If the future of our children's, productivity, or however they want to really say it, that's kind of what school is really getting them ready for the real world. If our teachers aren't paid well, they're not going to care as much. Some will, some might. But until we pay our teachers a living wage where they don't have to stress, they can go into school and focus on helping out the students. They don't have to worry about maybe bills at home or anything. They can focus on what little Johnny needs help with in math class, or what little Susie needs help with in science class. They can actually help them and give them the resources that they need. Another thing would be, we just need to overhaul and expand the Department of Education. I personally, I got to look into that just because there's been so much going on again. But we need to get back to the Department of Education. We need to get a new secretary, by all means, and we need to start putting money back into programs that allow kids to not be, what's the word I'm looking for? So I know some schools have like Prager University. That needs to not be. Yeah. It's disgusting what the rhetoric that they are trying to say is normal. And this is months ago. This is kind of an old news at this point. We all saw the Christopher Columbus thing that they did. I was mortified, and I absolutely was ready to call my kid's school and yell at them if they were going to do that. But luckily they don't do that. but whitewashing history is not going to help anyone learn. It's not going to help anyone learn how to move forward, how we can learn from our mistakes as a country. And a lot of that's being kind of suppressed in school, I feel like, especially now. I mean, I feel like my generation, we still kind of learned everything the right-ish way. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I never was taught, I went to a Catholic school. I was never taught this, like Christopher Columbus was a great guy. Like,
we were definitely taught that in public school. Christopher, what was it? 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Yeah. And so it was, everything was presented as, it was tough, but we got over it because we're America and America's great. And then I get to college and I learn the truth about most things. And it's like, ugh. But I don't know how you see it. And maybe that's the question I should ask you. Should the federal government be playing a role in what kids learn? So that'd be like a basic K through 12 education that every child has, Yeah. Like how there was, Bush came up with the No Child Left Behind. Should there be a basic K through 12 education?
I think there should, and I might get flack for that because a lot of people don't want all this government oversight and overreach. But you have states like Oklahoma that were trying to have the 10 Commandments in every school, regardless of public or private. And you have states that put policy before their students. Oh my God, ADHD again. So bad at this. I gotta get better. Okay. Oh my God.
We're twins.
No. Dude, like, my brain goes a million miles an hour half the time. I gotta, like, try meditating before this, but.
But I think I'm along those lines, we should try separation of church and state as much as possible in public education. I don't know why that ever
went away to begin with. I thought that was kind of how we were supposed to be running things anyway.
It gets well, and here's the problem. People think that there's a reason why the country is going the way that it is, and it has to be because there's no religion. Mm-hmm. There's no religion in the schools. There's no religion at work. There's no religion in the bathroom. And it's like, no, there should be like a basic, I feel like if your leader is empathetic, if your leader is decent, if your leader, acts like good character matters, then maybe that's the thing that'll trickle down, Maybe it won't be the economics that trickle down. Maybe it's the good character that trickles down. And you won't have to worry about, if they had religion in schools, then everything would be better. And I attended a Catholic university, so I know that religion doesn't really make people better. It just is something that people learn and they practice whether they want to or not. Who you are, that comes from environment, that comes from rearing, that comes a little bit of religion, but also observing how people are, right? If you turn on the TV and your president is like flipping people off and calling women pigs and things, I mean, that's
disgusting. It's not the leaders that we should be idolizing. It's not the leaders that I looked up to when I was a kid. I looked up to presidents when I was a kid, for sure. Now, I don't think, some people do, and that's their own thing. I'm not going to comment on that any further. But
yeah, it's tough to kind of at the legislative level figure out really what to do. But like you said, reform the Department of Education. Okay, but you have a president who says dismantle the Department of Education. What do you say about that? And the president comes to Congress and says, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I want. And Congress is like, okay. What is your response to that? What would you do in response to something like that? You're in Congress and someone says, I'm going to take your power away.
Well, I need to know what the normal thing. I got to read the handbook whenever I get in, because me right now, I would crash out on Trump. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't want that to make me lose a week or month of pay, but I'm happy to do that for my constituents that feel the same way and want to get the message across.
I've seen legislators crash out. I've seen it. I know. So, but it is Congress's job to dismantle agencies, to pass laws that create agencies. Congress is responsible for the creation of the Department of Homeland Security. Really, it was George W. Bush, but Congress, that passed something like 400-9 or something. So it was a bipartisan effort. But when the president comes in and says, hey, you know what? No more Department of Education. No more USAID. No more, no more, no more. And everyone just goes, okay.
And I don't know why. Again, I need to read, like, I feel like I'm kind of at a weird standstill right now because all the things that I want to do, I have no idea if I can do them yet because I haven't been, I haven't gone through the training or anything. So hypothetically speaking, I'd crash out on him and I'd tell him you're not doing that. And no, but I would really, it's a shame, to say the least, that he was going about that and pulling the Department of Education, because what I really think should happen is there should be a board of not even bipartisan, tripartisan, if there can be. If there's any independence, just it can't be a red or blue thing, because as soon as it's a red or blue thing, as soon as you have majority, it doesn't matter, right? Everyone's going to vote party line. So I think there needs to be some sort of an oversight board or oversight committee in the Department of Education that oversees what the standard should be that our children should learn, right? I don't think anyone in maybe fourth grade should read, Howard Zinn's A People's History. But I don't think we need to go that far as that, but we also need to not be whitewashing it and putting these things like PragerU in some of these schools that are doing it only because they have the separation from state and they can have their own education program in their own state. So it's a shame.
Okay, your platform calls for universal and affordable health care. What version of that idea do you support? A public option, Medicare expansion, Medicare for all, one tier, three tier, 4-layer cake?
I support Medicare for all. Okay. I also support, if people want to have their own private insurance, that's fine as well, in my own opinion, right? Because you might be able to see someone quicker. You might be able to see someone who's a little bit more specialized. That's fine. And I think you should be able to do that. I don't think you should just be handcuffed and told that this is what you got, deal with it, But I don't think that healthcare is a human right? We're all here. We were all born. We all got this one life that we're going to remember as far as we know. You shouldn't go into debt because you broke your arm, because someone cut you off and you sprained an ankle, or because you got sick, you got the flu. You shouldn't go into debt. You shouldn't go bankrupt because of healthcare. It should absolutely be a standard of living. And I believe in healthcare and Medicare for all.
And so the district you serve is I would say it's a well-off area. Do you see the issues that people are dealing with nationwide with the closure of hospitals and the high maternal mortality rate among Black women? Are you seeing some of those issues in your district, or is that more outside of your district?
I would say so. There's the one case, and I'm gonna flub her name because I'm live right now, and I have 19 people looking at me. The woman that unfortunately passed when they made her body
right. Yeah.
Baby, right? Yeah. That happened in my city that I'm in. I'm in Sandy Springs, Georgia, but that was the southern part, so that was actually a different district. Mm-hmm. That one hit close to home for us though, because we got young kids. We got a 6 and a 4-year-old, so it wasn't that long ago that I was in the hospital with my wife when she was giving birth. And so that one hit home, even though that wasn't in our district, but that was in our city, and that happened, and it should have never happened. As far as hospitals closing down, I've been trying to research this in my area. The counties that would be most affected, I would think, are Dawson County and Lumpkin County, further north in North Georgia. But I've not seen any direct closures, unless there's any constituents in here that can disprove that. But I've not seen anything, because it's kind of more, it's all sort of like Northside Hospital, different versions of it. They'll have Forsyth County, they'll have whatever, North Fulton. So I haven't really seen that, but in the question that I posed earlier about folks, top issues that are standing between them and potentially a better life, a lot of it, actually, I have the numbers here. About a quarter of them directly mentioned healthcare being an issue, right? So it's a fear of an emergency. Mm-hmm. People might be making good money. They might still be making $100,000 between their family, or $120,000 between their family, but because of, at the time, their ACA premiums going up, whether that's twofold or threefold, that directly hurts them, right? They're gonna feel that immediately. And a lot of folks in my comments have felt that since January, since the beginning of this month. And folks I know are also skipping care just because of the cost. They'd rather just wait it out.
At least, I've seen at least 1.4 million people have dropped their ACA plans since January 1st. That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
To just, not that they're even picking up another plan, they just can't afford it.
I don't have insurance. I used to have insurance through the union through local 600. But I lost it because the lack of work. We need a certain amount of hours per quarter or per 6 months, really. And I didn't get enough. There just wasn't enough union work to go around for us. And so my wife is on her own employer's plan, but we thought it best because adding me would have more than doubled her cost. So she has insurance. My kids are on Medicaid, and I'm just praying.
Flapping in the wind, huh?
I got to be dad.
None of them joints go out.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Just rub something on it. You know? Who cares?
You're just like, put some cream on it.
I don't have time to be sick. You know?
Wow, that is, you know what? That is remarkable to me. You know, that to me sounds like more like the American family where everybody is on a different insurance plan. It should not be like that.
We had great insurance under my employer. It was so cheap. We were so fortunate. Yes, we had to pay. There were certain premiums, etc. But overall, when something went wrong, we weren't worried about it. Now, I literally have to make sure my kids aren't going to run me over and I'm going to throw my back out because I don't see them. I'm 6'2". They just run everywhere. So
you just blew my mind with that, because that's something I think that when you get into Congress, you can absolutely do something about that. But I don't know why it's so hard. Like, I know back in the day, it was difficult to convince people, like back in the Harry Truman days, it was difficult to convince people to get on board with a national health care because of racism. Well, I mean, some of those barriers have been knocked down. Why do you think it's still so difficult to get most Americans on board with national health care?
You know, and it's unfortunate that you bring that up because that still is happening today. A lot of folks that I've spoken with have mentioned that they don't want illegals getting our insurance, which is empathy's out the window. Empathy is just gone for some folks. I won't say a lot. It's not a lot. It's some, but it's unfortunate that they feel that way. And honestly, for those people, I can't convince them not to be that way. There's, unfortunately, as much as I want to, it's going to be a waste of my time to convince them not to be racist and not to feel those feelings. I can certainly tell them that, you know, I can try to flip the script. I was raised Catholic. I can flip the script and say, was this what Jesus would want? Would Jesus turn away, you know, a neighbor? Would Jesus not care? But,
you know, appealing to people's moral bones, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not practical. It doesn't move the heartstrings when you're talking about an ideology that people strongly hold that even beats out religion, right? I can't believe, for me, religion is everything to me, but I'm still a human being. If I didn't have religion, I would still want the best for my neighbors, you know? Right. But that's just, again, how I was raised, my environment, the work that I do. I don't know. And I've heard Donald Trump's new health insurance plan. Have you heard about his new plan he introduced?
I've heard little bits about it.
So do you have anything strike you about it that's...
No, because until I actually see something, he can talk all he wants. You know what I mean? Like, just because he opens his mouth doesn't mean something's going to happen, in my opinion. And I'd rather wait until it's actually getting bad, I guess, to look into it, because he might tweet that we're taking over Greenland and no one can do anything about it. I mean,
Congress can do something. Congress, I mean, you all are pretty powerful. And I'm saying you all because you're running for that office. You all are powerful.
They're getting paid a good amount of money. Like,
yeah, that's...
I'm looking at that and I'm like, I'm going to work my wife's going to tell me to take a day off. Like, I'm going to work because that's just who I am. Like, I was raised with a work ethic. I was raised to work hard. I've been working in my industry since I was 17. I've been working since I was 15 or 14. You know, people should just care. It's insane.
It's insane.
Why? Yeah. Sorry.
So I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. These are yes or no, short answer. What's the biggest, oh, you already answered that. Biggest quality of life issue facing your district right now is affordability. Got that. Answered that for you. You're welcome. What, what matters more today, traffic congestion or housing affordability?
I would say housing affordability.
Okay. Should the district invest more in transit or road expansion?
Transit. They've done road expansion. It doesn't help. It just leads to more traffic.
People are like, ooh, these big roads.
But if I may, real quick, I know it's rapid fire. That was one of the things, though, too, is infrastructure and people being like, man, I really wish I could get into the city a little better than just the MARTA, or I wish I could get to the MARTA from somewhere else, because the MARTA just goes straight up and down, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're off to the sides and the corners, you kind of have to get there somehow. So,
you have to get. Wow. Okay.
Instead of making things wider.
Do you support expanding broadband access across all 6 counties in the district?
Of course, yes. I don't think that any county is more valuable than the other. I think everyone deserves access to that, regardless of where they are.
Okay. Should new development be required to include affordable housing?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that a lot of these things should also be almost mandated if they can. I don't know if that would be on a federal level or a local level, to hire local.
Okay. Well, it could be like a contract could be predicated on hiring local employees,
like 3/4 or a half, but bringing in people, it adds more traffic when you have skilled labor right there that are more than happy to do it instead of getting priced out by the new developments.
What's one issue you'll never compromise on?
Abortion. AB. I didn't finish the word. AB. Like what? Like our current representative is like anti it at all costs, and that, to me, that's insane. That's insane.
It is insane. It's pretty insane to make a deceased woman carry a fetus. That's, I mean,
people's lives, people's families paying that medical bill. Like, people matter. The people that are here now, I'm sorry, matter more than the people that could be, especially if they're already a parent, if they already have people that count on them. Why should their life matter less than a possibility?
I totally agree. Sometimes it's people are putting ideologies before common sense and decency, and so, we're getting the result that we're getting. Do you think that community-based violence prevention is effective?
Community-based violence protection, prevention?
Prevention.
Do you, as community-based,
like community policing, do you think that's effective?
I do. Yeah, I do. I don't think that the way that Mr. Zimmerman went about it was good at all. I think that's horrendous, and there should have never happened at all. But yes, I do think that local communities getting together and ensuring that their neighborhoods are safe, their communities are safe, is a good thing. As long as they're doing it by the book of the law and not breaking any laws, of course, I have no problem with that.
Do you? I don't know what the ICE presence is like in your district, but
it's coming in. Yeah.
Do you, when you're out talking to voters, do you hear from them that they're satisfied with what's going on, or that they're unhappy with it, and what can you do to change it type of attitude?
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, a lot of them, they know I can't do anything until I get in. A lot of them are really angry at the current Congress for allowing it to happen, as am I. Mm-hmm. But mainly when I talk to people, a majority of them are against what's going on. There's always a couple people that are still pro what's going on, and at a certain point I just have to ignore them and keep on the message and keep caring about the people that want the positive change.
Do you get the feeling that people feel unsafe?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I see I'm a member of a lot of groups on Facebook for a lot of either cities or counties that kind of overlap into our district. And people are saying, people are warning others when they're coming. People are saying, stay inside. It's not safe. And as someone who grew up in a predominantly white, but also Hispanic community in California, it's people just trying to live their lives. No one deserves that. I don't care if it costs, I don't want to say that, but The trade-off, the positives of it, the alleged positives are not worth the negatives, in my opinion. They're not worth the risk of humans getting assaulted, getting unalived, unfortunately, getting detained illegally. They're not for it. It's ridiculous. And I think really until people actually see it for themselves that are pro it, they might think a little bit differently.
So one of the changes that the Patriot Act made was it put immigration enforcement under the umbrella of national security. And so ICE is now linked with enforcement of national security and protecting national security. You say that you want to abolish ICE. What would you replace or shift or change about the Patriot Act or the Department of Homeland Security? What would be your replacement for immigration and enforcement?
So I think it would start. I actually had a plan about this. I don't know how it would work. It would have to take a little bit of time to check into it, but almost like a certain different identification, right? Not a green card or not anything, but just a regular, like a driver's license, like even a smart license that shows this person is authorized to be here. Especially if they get it through work, there can be programs that the employers can work with the government and ensure that their employees, whether they're immigrants or on a visa or on a green card, that they have what they need so that they can do the job. Because we're getting a lot of people coming in from overseas. In our district, we're getting a lot from, I've noticed in Mr. McCormick's emails that he's getting a lot of support from the Indian community, and we're trying to do a lot of things with that. And we have a large Indian community in Forsyth County as well. But it all also stems back to
and India is not one of the countries that Trump recently said he's not going to process immigrant visas from, is it? I don't think I saw it on the list.
So
I didn't see India on the list.
Almost every other country was, but
yeah, almost every other country except Sweden and India. It was almost as if he was saying that nothing valuable is coming from these 75 places, but we can get something valuable from India and China and what else? Germany and England and the like.
But it's a weird thing, and it goes back to the minimum wage, right? A lot of these immigrants are being paid below normal, or they're being paid the bare minimum, right? And no one else is going to, and I, as much as I hate to say this, they should be paid more. But at the end of the day, those employers are also can't function because they don't have the laborers. Now there's a chicken plant in Gainesville, where 30 million pounds of chicken or something like that goes through every year or something. It's something crazy. And ICE was just going there the other day too. So I got to talk to my team and figure out what's going on with that. But that would directly implicate people too. That would directly implicate the price of things as well.
And so what is replacing this labor, and what do you think Congress can do to help employers? I suppose they know who they're hiring when they hire, although some will say, well, we contract out, so we don't know. But what can be done to help the labor market while also ensuring that people who are legal to be in the US are finding jobs? You don't want to be like, okay, we just want to focus on these immigrants, these migrant workers, and their ability to work, and our citizens over here in our district, we'll just, let them, they'll sort it out. I mean, you have to do something for these people while also ensuring that the people over here are protected as well, right? Or while ensuring that employers are protected, businesses are protected, so they can still do business in the area. If they lose their entire workforce, they go out of business. If the chicken plant loses 75% of its workforce because they were detained and deported, what happens to the chicken plant?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those questions where I'm really going to be able to see a lot more clearly once I get in, of course. Yeah, you know what? I'm not too sure. I will say I'm not too sure.
So, okay, but what if a business came to you and said, they took 50% of my workforce, and here's $1 million for your campaign. When you get into Congress, I want you to make sure that you put forth a bill that says that we can have so many migrants come into the US to work so I can get my chicken plant people back. What would you say?
Well, I'd rip up the $1 million check first of all. Then I would say fair, but we need to work with hiring halls possibly in the area that have people that can do the job, right? Maybe they don't know about the job. Maybe there's room for a little bit of a wage increase if it means not as many people. Maybe you lose 5 or 10% of the workforce that was prior illegal, right? That may have been detained or whatever, but the wages can go up for people. So there's gonna have to be trade-offs.
There have to be trade-offs.
And of course, like, so when I say like a minimum wage, just like California was doing, obviously there's a threshold that you have to hit in order to have that enacted, right? I think it's been years since I've lived there, but I think it was like 100 people that were, 100 employees was the threshold or whatever it has to be, right? So your average mom and pop shop, might not have to feel that so harshly, right? Versus like a mid-range company. But there's just going to have to be trade-offs. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be the one that calls it out. We can't let it all go to only the employers or all only to the employees. There has to be a balance.
Okay, I like that. Environment, you're not really, you don't really have an environmental policy that I could see. But
I have thoughts. I should. I'm adding to it often.
okay. Well, how do you plan to address climate change? I want to say climate change, but for some reason, climate change is like a boogeyman.
No.
It's one of those things you say it and people are like, oh, whatever. It's kind of one of those overused, like, what does that even mean? But it's real. But you have a president telling people, that's junk science. And then he brings in scientists to the EPA and they say, well, that's junk science. That doesn't mean anything. What would you do to address climate change and environmental protection once you get into Congress?
I would show receipts again. I would show where global temperatures were 10 years ago when Mr. Trump took office. I would see where they are now. I would look at a bunch of different data points as to why that could be. I would look in areas where there might be more e-waste that's going into the water. I would look at places like the factories that are sucking up all the water. There are so many different things environmental related. And I know, thank you. Actually, I have to add that to my platform because I'm big on the environment. I haven't littered since I was a really bad teenager. When I'll say this. This is the last time I littered. I was mad and I had a Frappuccino and someone cut me off and I had an old Toyota Corolla and I got mad and I threw it at them and it hit the inside of my car and got all over me. And I go, well, learn my lesson. So
I'll never do that again.
as far as the environment goes, we see trash all the time. I have areas in my district. We have Lake Lanier, and a lot of that, that's kind of a boogeyman lake as well. But it is a water supply for a lot of people, right? And so when we have things like there was different smells coming out of it, people were saying, and there was a whole water study going on kind of currently about it.
Zombies, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, personally, yes. We all know it's down there. Rest in peace, unfortunately. But there's so many things that we see day to day, from water safety to crazy weather in general to it being hot on Christmas in Georgia. I would just show data points again. I would show where we were at before. I would absolutely try to have the EPA up and running. I feel like they're kind of on pause right now, aren't they? Or did they defund them or something? Like regulations.
They're rolling back emission standards.
Yeah.
Because and here's the thing.
They're protecting profit, aren't they? Isn't that the thing? They're not even looking who it affects. They're protecting how it affects the businesses.
Right.
Wow, so Ayana, it's driving me nuts.
So clean energy is the target now, right? They don't want the clean energy jobs. They don't want the windmills. They don't want the wind farms, the solar farms, because that takes away from the fossil fuel business. And fossil fuels, we want to be dependent on fossil fuels. You got the president selling 50 million barrels of oil or whatever the case,
yeah.
Because those people are putting money in his pocket.
Yep.
they're putting money in the pockets of many political candidates and politicians. And so, would you support clean energy jobs in your district, even if it meant, less reliance on fossil fuels? Maybe some of those oil companies take a hit.
I think so because fossil fuels aren't going to be around forever. They have a shelf life, unfortunately, and it's going to be within some of our grandkids' lives. It's going to be within some of our kids' lives, unfortunately. Now, one could say that the amount of energy or oil it takes to have the windmills, right? Whether it's getting out to them or oiling them just to have them go.
Wait a minute. Look, Donald Trump is in my head. They are wind turbines. He calls them windmills. They're wind turbines.
Yes, sorry. Wait,
Oh.
what is a windmill then?
The windmill is the one on the farm with the big.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm
Everyone
like, wait
gets
a minute, that
windmill,
didn't
but
sound
a wind
right.
turbine.
That
Yeah,
did
sorry.
not sound right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
thank you for the correction. Thank you. I don't want to be quoting him at all. So,
No. Oh boy. Ooh, okay. Back
um,
on track. Back on track.
so I would look at the data again, right? I would look and see if certain things are really helpful or if they're harmful, right? Electric cars, that's one thing. That's going to be what are the components for that? Lithium. There's going to be battery issues. There's going to be water to power those centers to do the batteries, right? Everything kind of takes something. So what I would look into as an alternate is water or kind of vegetable oil as an alternative, right? Like almost like a used thing, because if we're already having fossil fuels, that's already used essentially, right? That's just millions of years old, hundreds of millions of years old. Now, there are some folks out there, I don't know, maybe even companies or small companies that have started to make energy, through hydrogen or through, like I said, used cooking oil or whatever it may be. There's other alternatives out there that we definitely need to look into. But we don't need to be handcuffed by what we have and by only thinking that these are our only three solutions, right?
I think it's hilarious that these companies haven't figured out how to parlay or kind of shift their business model from fossil fuels into alternative or clean energy forms. They're just like, no, we only know fossil fuels. We can't do anything else. We can't. And they're just completely stuck. So now they have to pay. I don't want to say pay, but they have to kind of push lawmakers into stalling clean energy products. I don't know if you know this, but the infrastructure law that President Biden passed got a bunch of money for a bunch of projects that started some last year, some in 2024. And Donald Trump had his people, especially for the clean energy ones, go, hey, stop this work. Stop it, because we're not sure that money should be spent on this, even though the money is already allocated, which judges have ultimately said, the money's already allocated. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But the big oil is like, hey, leaning on people, It's incredible to me that every time we're trying to progress, right? Somebody comes in and is like, no, go back to the 1950s. We want to roll back civil rights. We want to roll back voting rights. We want to roll back women's rights. And
I was just going to say, I think at a point we have to look at every country that we're going to that is rich in oil that we've just stripped everything from them. Venezuela's one, right? They have it's like a darker oil that they have. It's not the kind that's used for automobiles per se, but it can be, so these companies are going over there and now they're saying that they don't want, and maybe it's changed, but at least a couple days ago, they might not want anything to do with it because it's going to cost them so much money just to be able to refine it in the way that makes them the profit that they need.
right.
So I think we need to look at this as
It's
a
not
whole.
instant. It takes a while.
No, it takes a long time. And we're talking about taking over countries just for the resources. What are we doing? There's so many other ways that we can get what we need without being the schoolyard bully. And I'm sorry if Exxon has to eat $30 billion. Not my problem. Do better. Be a better human.
Are you a fan of the tariff policies?
No. And I'm a small business owner as well. One of my small businesses, I was selling video cables. Now I was getting them. I was trying to make them at first. Then it was way easier. I found a supplier in overseas, but it was just me. It was a one-person operation. Now, Mr. Trump's tariff policy ended up closing my entire sales department because I couldn't withstand the fluctuating costs of just importing, just shipping them to me, because I didn't know what I was going to have to pay at customs. So I had to completely dissolve that company. I had a lot of
Wow.
folks in the industry who are bummed. You know, they'll move on. But that's directly impacted me, are these tariffs and just how stupid they are.
I like how you whispered stupid. Wow, that's incredible. I have so many opinions, but this isn't about me. This is about you. I want to do some fun, I don't want to say fun rapid fire, but some kind of like more lighthearted rapid fire questions. Politics would be less broken if we all stopped pretending that ...
We were the smartest in the room.
Okay, there you go.
That's both sides too. You know what I mean?
Okay, I
Always
agree.
a student, always a student.
All right. If you could put one policy question on a billboard on I-85, what would it ask?
Well, if I could put a policy question,
Something like, are you better off today than you were yesterday? Or,
I was going to go a little snarkier than that. But,
oh no, please go ahead.
how are those grocery bills under Trump? I don't know. Something, you know, or in fact, I would show that my billboard would be 2 side-by-side receipts with the dates of them very bold so you can see, and the totals very bold.
I thought maybe you were going to say my business before Trump's tariffs, my business after Trump's tariffs, and it's just like a closed.
Well, we're still open. I still have debt, so I'm still paying that off. So we're open still, unfortunately.
What's sorry? What's one committee you'd replace with an email chain? Like this could have been an email.
Oh my God. Anything that overlaps with my other committee meetings, because I actually listened to an audiobook that kind of told me the ins and outs of what to expect in Congress. And man, I'm going to have to invest in a scooter, because a lot of these things I'm going to have to be going there. So half of the things I would probably say, can we just like do this in a chat, something?
Exactly, in a group chat. Yes.
Otherwise, I'll be sweating my tail off come August in DC trying to get to all these meetings.
Have you seen the reporters will confront representatives in the hallways? Have you seen how fast they walk?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like it's like they're about to walk into a door. I'm like, why are they walking so fast? Oh, they got to get to a committee meeting.
Some of these hallways are never
never ending. It's like floors and floors. It's crazy. If voters could hit a skip ad button on one type of campaign messaging, what would they skip?
A skip ad button, meaning they want to see it?
Skip ad, no, meaning they don't want to see it. They're tired of seeing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd probably be climate change, unfortunately. I hate to say that. It really that crushes me as someone who cares. But like you said,
someone who cares.
But like you said, you had a good point, Ayana, where it's like people hear that and they hear boogeyman, right? Yeah. And so if you look at my policies as well, like I am trying to be very mindful of the language that I use when I'm including LGBTQIA plus folks. Because I'm very pro. I have many friends through my wife and just in general and in our industry and people on the trail as well. I've met folks that are T people in here, I will say. And they're great people, but they hear that term, they hear LGBTQIA, and they automatically assume it's a blue hair liberal crap. My thing is equality and equity for all. End of full stop. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay. So I think these words, we kind of like, we have to be cautious about what we say, because it's kind of like beating a dead horse. We're like, oh, climate change. Well, what's that going to do? Right. How does that affect me right now? Right. This is like a 10-year out thing. They've got bigger fish to fry now. And we are seeing that real quick too. I know we're going kind of rapid fire, but we're seeing a lot of establishment Dems that are being like, well, how are taxes going and all that? And everyone's like, they're beating people in the street. We need to worry about that first. Can we do that? Then we can worry about day-to-day stuff. This is way more pressing.
Gosh. Cory Booker's new wife,
Come
this
on,
poor lady. Oh my gosh. She did just kind of like a funny video of her visiting her husband at his office, and the comments were like, "Lady, read the room. People are getting beat up in the streets. Could you tone it down a little bit?" And I'm like, oh my God.
But they don't see it. They really don't. They have these blinders on. They don't live the struggle like most of us do. They
You're
don't.
right. He's not from Newark anymore.
No.
You know?
When's the last time he actually went grocery shopping?
I couldn't tell you, but it was just so funny how it's like, yeah, people still want to feel normal and be happy, but then you literally look outside and it's a madhouse. It's madness. It's tyranny. And it's like, how can you be happy inside when the outside looks like that? And your husband is a senator.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to abolish ICE. I want to reform ICE.
Again, read the room, buddy. Go on, ask people.
Okay, in the final rapid fire, finish this sentence. People think I'm blank, but I'm actually blank.
Oh man. People think I'm a libtard, but I just care about people. One of my things is going to be, I want you to win, just not at the expense of other people's constitutional rights.
As a person who cares, Case, I agree.
I want everyone to win. I just don't want it to be at the expense of someone getting beat in the street because they're brown or because they might not have their papers. My God, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. All I know is that if somebody asks me a question, I'm going to pretend like I'm 3 years old again. And don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Why don't people think that they can reason with ICE? You can't. Do they sound reasonable? They're called ICE.
No.
They want to be called ICE. Anyway, how will you stay accountable to voters once elected? Will you commit to regular town halls, transparency on votes, and clear reporting back to the district?
Absolutely. Accountability is huge. We are seeing folks that just aren't accountable to anything. We're seeing our congressman especially has not held a town hall in 11 months since February of last year when he got ripped apart by his constituents at a Roswell town hall. That was more than packed. It was actually a fire code issue that they had people outside. And I've had a lot of friends that were there, and a lot of my volunteers and donors as well that were there, giving him a piece of their mind. But he's not been back since because Trump said not to go back and have town halls, which is insane. I plan on having at least 2 town halls a year in person in my district, and we can switch up the area because I know we're kind of a little bit spread out kind of areas, so it gives people a chance to come to either one. But I just think when we call our rep right now, we get voicemail. We don't get anyone to talk to. Very rarely we do, but we need to be better about that. And I plan on having folks in my on my staff that are readily available at all times. What
about the office, the in-person office? Do you think you'll maintain one of those?
Oh, absolutely. I thought you had to.
Well, everybody, you do,
think, right?
Well, listen, you do. But there's no requirement that somebody is there, right?
Well, that's not right. We're going to find it in my budget to make sure that happens.
That's why when you call, it goes straight to voicemail or mailbox is full because there's no one there to answer the phone.
Or when I call the local one, it's like, hey, you've reached our DC office. And I'm like, that's not what I called.
Exactly.
Where are you, Rick?
Exactly. So it's like,
October. I was going to say, come October, there's a billboard I found right across from his office. So when we get that kind of money, we're doing it. We're doing it.
That's right. Speaking of money, how's the fundraising going?
Oh, we could use so much more. But our costs have been low, so I can't complain. Everything has been organic traction. It's been a little bit from friends and family, mostly from folks that just want new representation.
We got to get you some billboard money.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's going to be our mission.
I want people to know who I am. I want him to know who I am come the month before. I'm going to get that 4-week billboard deal.
Yes, I love that. So can you tell the people, we got like 10 minutes. Can you tell people how to support your campaign, where they can find you, where they can send that billboard money so that you can get it up and put your message on there?
Absolutely. So I think it's right here. So we have www.case4Congress. Unfortunately, it's not District 4. I really wanted it to work. But case4congress.com. From there, you will see anything from being able to volunteer to being able to subscribe and see what we're up to next, to seeing what events we have, anything media related. I wanted to ask you actually, Ayana, is this being recorded?
Yes, it is. It'll be on YouTube later.
Wonderful. So I will add this to my thing as well for a lot of folks in my district that don't have TikTok. You can find pretty much everything about me. You can see the map of our district. You can see the cities and partial towns that are in alphabetical order on where exactly you are. Because a lot of people don't know where they are when they hear, oh, I'm in District 7. They go, what does that mean? 2 years ago, it meant something else. 4 years ago, it was completely different.
Yes. Yep.
So I was part of Gator. I don't know if you know Gator, HR
Yes.
Gator.
Yeah. Oh, I love her.
She told me, she was like, you need to do this. So I was like, I got you. I went back to my website. I build websites. I do it myself. I added it all and I was like, look what we got. So I have as much information as I can. There's my Ballotpedia, which has what kind of I answered a bunch of questions. It was like a questionnaire.
Yeah, I read that.
Everything is on there. I try to be as transparent as I can be. There's links to my IMDb if you want to know what I've worked on in the film industry. I've got everything up there. So check it out. Volunteer, contribute, whatever you want to do. Any dollar helps. We have a $5,220 ballot access fee that is due between the very short 5-day window of March 2nd and March 6th. We are trying to be there March 2nd, 8 a.m. as soon as they open, with a check in hand ready to go. So we are insured to be on that ballot come May 19th for primaries.
So, okay, when you're going around and you're talking to people, what's their response been? Is it favorable for you, or are people like, I love that McCracken guy?
It's McCracken. Well, if they're saying McCracken, they don't love him. McCormick. So, it's not hit or miss, but I will say it's either very pro McCormick or very, I'm so sick of him, I don't even care who it is, or I love you, let's do this. It's been a very good response overall. Percentage wise, it's been very good, very favorable. Now we do have someone else that is running. They just came in like a week ago onto the FEC. So I will have a primary challenger come May. Not much about them though. I welcome them. I welcome debate. I welcome everything. It's easier than just sliding through. Sliding through would have been a lot easier, but here we are. I welcome a debate. I welcome democracy. So I've been telling my friends as well. I've been telling a lot of people in the district, like, look, it's not just going to be me. There's going to be a primary. And I'm not going to knock on the guy. I know nothing about him. There's no digital footprint. I know nothing about this man. For all I know, we could become best friends. So,
well, no, you're competing against each other. It's like Survivor. One of you's got to get voted off the island. It's going to be no, I'm kidding.
But
we're nonpartisan. We're nonpartisan.
Right. And I'm confident in how I carry myself, and I'm confident in my message and my background that people will resonate with that more than someone who might have a few more years on me.
So if you had, sometimes these races will lately come down to getting independent and non-party voters on your side to win. If you had maybe a couple of sentences or 60 seconds to convince an undecided voter to vote for you, what would you say?
I would say, what are you doing?
You really need to
try to figure that out.
I
would.
You would do something like this.
I would pull up policy issues. I would pull up a comparison, and I wouldn't even do it in a way that's demeaning or negative to Mr. McCormick. But I would say, this is what he says. This is what he's voted on. This is what I say. This is what I will vote on. And this is, it just comes down to transparency.
You'll be like, I worked on Supernatural. I mean, come on. I don't know. I have no
20-hour days on set. I can stay in a chamber for a day. I'll vote, whatever. Keep me in there. Just give me a coffee.
I have had so much fun doing this.
Thank you.
This is so much fun. If you were faced with a very tough vote that splits your party and your constituents, how would you approach that decision? just as a final. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Well, let me be interrupted. We have a question. Yay!
Yeah.
Hello. You have a question for
I
Kate?
like your username already. Yes, money out of pocket.
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Hi.
Hey, yeah, I just popped in on my personal page and I thought I'd pop over on this one. I'm the executive director of Money Into Politics, and
Oh, wow.
um,
Welcome.
I'm in Georgia, but not in your district, a little bit more south of you. But we would love for you to pop over and take our candidate integrity pledge in regards to the influence of money in politics. And we're a C4, so we can't exactly, electioneer, but we do have some partner organizations that are looking to platform candidates who are dedicated to reducing the influence of money in politics and promoting political equality. So, I'd love to connect with you for a few minutes and see if we might be able to help you out with some resources like that.
Yeah, Case needs a billboard. He's looking for billboard money.
Billboard money.
I saw something like that.
But from
we also
grassroots
partner-
donors, not corporate PACs or APAC.
Right.
We also partner with some other orgs in Georgia that are voter mobilization organizations that are run by a couple of friends of mine. So would love to see how I can clock in and help you if you want to pop over there. And then I'll DM you my email address as well. And we can set up a few minutes to chat if you want.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming up and asking. Yes, I would absolutely love to take that pledge. Just DM me anything that you think I might need, and I'll get on that after this.
Yep, great. And anybody else in the chat that wants to get involved, go to moneyoutofpolitics.org, and we would love to have you. And thanks for letting me up, guys.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Ayana, I'm an attorney in Georgia, and I've been following you for a minute, so on my personal page.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. My name is Bobby, so it was a pleasure to meet you all, and I will DM you.
All right, Bobby. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty.
Love that. I'm grateful. Gratitude is the number one thing right now. I'm grateful for anything that's been coming our way. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you guys were about to kind of wrap up. I don't know if you
We were, but I can't, for some reason, mine is not allowing me to disconnect you. If one of the moderators can.
I'm here forever. No, I'm just we'll have a more.
Oh, there you go. You know what? I'm just going to rock with this. I don't know why TikTok did this.
You're green now.
I am green now. That's fine. I feel green. I feel wealthy. I feel pretty and witty and bright.
Yeah, those are like dollars behind you.
Oh, yes. Manifest, 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 as my daughter would say. But yeah, so final 2 minutes. What would you say to the people just really quickly? Give a little wrap up, a little quick wrap up.
If you want someone who actually wants to listen to you, wants to meet you where you are, and wants to work to ensure that you can have even an inkling of a better life, then I would love to be your representative.
All right, there you guys go. We thank you so much for being here with us, Case. This has been so much fun. I don't know if it was supposed to be fun, but it was fun.
I thought it was to be fun. I've been watching these for a minute now. I haven't been able to watch a full one, but I've been coming in when I can. So I've been watching you do what you do, and I appreciate everything that you guys do.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the support from the candidates who continue to ask us to platform them. We really enjoy having you guys here and letting the people know who's running for office and how to vote and where to vote and when to vote. Voting coming out of our ears.
Vote. We need it. We cannot have people sitting on the sidelines.
That's right.
Vote in your primary and vote in the general, please.
That is
correct. Our democracy
correct.
might just depend on it.
That is correct. Absolutely. Especially in the primaries. Primaries are very important. So when those dates come up, get thee to the polls. Tomorrow, we are having a candidates roundtable. I don't know what your schedule is like, if you can make it, but we're also having one on February 1st, I believe, if the graphic is going to change.
What time would it be tomorrow?
It's at 3 o'clock. There we go. It is at 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock tomorrow. It's from 3 to 5. Okay. From 3 to 5 tomorrow. We have one on February 1st. If you can't make that one, we would love to have you at one of them. Yeah. I feel like you would benefit from it, talking to other candidates who are running for office, talking about what issues they have with fundraising and meeting constituents and other town hall related issues or just general shooting the breeze with other candidates, sharing ideas. We would love to have you. Again, that is tomorrow, January 18th, 2026 at 3 p.m. You will see my lovely face once again, just one more time before MLK Day on Monday. Again, thank you, Case, for being with us, for joining us here at OVC. We really appreciate you. We appreciate the audience as well. You guys were very respectful today, on your best behavior. I appreciate that. I didn't have to yell at anyone. I love that. Again, we are OVC. I am Ayana Fakir. OVC, unfortunately, I do not have the closing statement. I forgot to cut and paste that. Charge it to my hunger, not my lack of enthusiasm for this project. But OVC, it's a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life. I'm going to do it from memory. Uniting Americans from all walks of life, encouraging voters, making sure every vote counts. Thank you for joining us. Remember, your vote is your power. Again, thank you, Case. Everyone, have a great evening. Bye.
Ayana.